Jay Cutler, Lee Priest got banned in and out of the organization. He switched, he went to another one, and he's just been very outspoken his whole career. I think he could have been a much better bodybuilder if he had stayed true to following some sort of rules, but obviously he didn't want to do that. I don't think he was blacklisted, I think he blacklisted himself more than they blacklisted him. He still could have stayed in the industry and been super popular, but he chose not to stay present. Jay Cutler on Lee Priest, a look at talent, controversy, and choices in bodybuilding. In the world of professional bodybuilding, few names are as memorable, or as divisive, as Lee Priest. Known for his incredible muscle mass, unapologetic attitude, and outspoken personality, Priest remains one of the sport's most talked about figures. But what do other legends of the sport think about him? Four-time Mr. Olympia champion Jay Cutler offered a candid assessment that gets to the heart of Priest's legacy. Cutler's take on Priest's career and choices. Jay Cutler once remarked on Lee Priest's tendency to operate outside the traditional constraints of the sport, saying that Priest could have been an even more successful bodybuilder if he had stayed true to following some sort of rules, but that, in his view, Priest chose not to. Cutler continued, I don't think he was blacklisted, I think he blacklisted himself more than they blacklisted him. According to Cutler, Priest could have remained in the industry and been hugely popular, but he chose not to stay present. This comment reflects a broader conversation within bodybuilding about the balance between raw talent and professional conduct. Priest's career was marked by extraordinary physical gifts, he stunned peers and fans alike with his freaky muscularity from a very young age, yet it was also punctuated by conflict with the sport's governing bodies. Why Priest's path was unusual. Lee Priest's story is not a typical rise and retire arc. He burst into the professional scene as one of the most genetically gifted competitors of his time, turning heads with size and conditioning that left even seasoned pros in awe. But his outspoken nature and willingness to challenge authority figures and organizational rules led to tension with the IFBB Pro League. At various points in his career, Priest collided with the IFBB over competing in unsanctioned events and over his candid public remarks about the sport's politics. These disputes ultimately culminated in suspensions and, at times, what some described as a de facto blacklisting from the league's most prestigious stages. But as Cutler's remark suggests, Priest's own choices, his refusal to toe the line or prioritize staying within the IFBB structure, played a significant role in that outcome. Talent versus legacy. Cutler's perspective underscores a tension many fans and insiders acknowledge. Priest's physical potential was undeniable, but his legacy was shaped as much by his personality and decisions as by his muscle. Priest's presence was so striking that even peers like Cutler could marvel at his physique. Nobody could blow your mind like Priest did when he first burst on the scene, and yet, that presence did not translate into a long, sustained run at the very top of the sport. Some see Priest as a rebel icon, an athlete who stood up for honesty and authenticity in a sport often criticized for politics and favoritism. Others view him as a cautionary tale about what happens when talent isn't coupled with strategic career management inside the system. The broader bodybuilding narrative. Cutler's comments reflect more than just his view of one peer, they highlight a broader narrative within professional bodybuilding. Success on stage depends not just on muscle and conditioning, but on relationships, adherence to organizational norms, and sustained visibility. Priest's journey, controversial, compelling, and unforgettable, represents one of the sport's most interesting paths precisely because it defied the expected. Conclusion: a legend defined by choices. Whether you see Lee Priest as a misunderstood genius, a rebel with a cause, or a self-sabotaged phenom, Jay Cutler's reflection captures a key tension in competitive sport. Raw ability doesn't always equal long-term legacy. Priest's story reminds fans that the path to lasting influence in bodybuilding is shaped by both what you can do with your body and how you choose to navigate the world around you.